diving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. My cat is making it extremely difficult for me to do all this. He's being extremely persistent. But good morning. We are here. What, dude? What? He's still a kitten. So I accidentally left him in the sunroom all night the other night. Yeah. You just want some loving. Said it, you just want loving. All right. All right. Oh, I meant to send a message to somebody. Dude, I love you, but not right now. If you can let me do this real quick, I'd appreciate it. Stop, dude. Enough. Go fuck with your brothers. Oh, seriously. Dude, enough. Enough. Go find something to do. Seriously. He ain't giving up. He's not going to give up. I'm going to grab some coffee. Oh, Lord. Children. Yeah, we found that one on the street. So I think sometimes he's following me everywhere. I'm having as much patience as I can. I'm just not in the mood to have a kitty rubbing up against me for 20 minutes. Good morning, Clara. To answer your question, it's 2 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. That Amber will be doing that. Yeah, I just had I'm actually trying to rearrange a spot C for that time. Dude, enough. Jesus. More to you. This just got sent to me from Leisure, who'll probably be here in a minute himself. Sobriety is a grant, not a gift. A gift is something to keep forever. A grant is contingent on us doing something to keep it. Yeah, I like that. All right, it's warm enough in here. We no longer, you're back already. You just don't get it, do you? Oh, doing my little strip show there. Somebody play Joe Cocker, leave your hat on. Somebody play Joe Cocker, leave your hat on. I'm gonna have to listen to that song next. In fact, I gotta put it up on my YouTube. Joe Cocker, leave your hat on. There we go. Now I cannot play it, or this video will be cut. So I don't have a squirt bottle at the present moment. I do, but it doesn't squirt, it sprays. And he don't give a fuck. He's used to living on the streets, so he don't give a fuck. It's like 20 degrees outside and he wants to hang out in the sunroom where it's cold. You know, he's an alcoholic kitty. So, and he's sitting there staring at me now. All right, but good morning. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Oh, Saturday is my busiest day. And people keep adding to it. No. He's going to be back. He's just looking for a way up because I have him blocked right now. All right. We're going to be reading from A Day at a Time, which is Hazelden literature. And then I'll probably get into the 12 by 12 a little bit with the 12 tradition, because that's where personalities, principles before personalities kind of come from. So told you he'd be back. Now he thinks he's just being sneaky because he's moving all slow. Maybe Dad won't notice that my fat ass is in his lap. All right. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name's Dion. The fact that he won't go away just tells you how much he loves me, though. Huh. You love your daddy. They all love their daddy. I'm a cat whisperer. There's something about cats. Welcome to Daily Trudge. I'm Dion. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. When I was about 8 years old, I was sitting in the yard playing, and the neighbor's cat came over and started loving me. I'm all, hey, kitties. And starts circling in my lap, and I'm playing with her, and she starts pooping on me. It was the weirdest thing. She just starts pooping on me, but what freaked me out is it was white. It was white poop. So I'm like, Mom, and she comes out, cat's pooping on me. No, she was having her babies. She was having her babies on me, and since then, cats either love me or hate me. There's no in between. But I'm kind of the cat whisperer. All right. Go over to somebody's house and have a cat run up and sit on my shoulder. Oh, that cat never does that. I'm like, bullshit, it doesn't. It's doing it right now. It hates everybody. Well, clearly it just doesn't like you. What are you doing to the cat? So it's probably why I have 8 cats. I'm a crazy cat dude. Let's get started. I just thought that was a fun little story that I would force upon you to listen on an early Saturday morning. When we first stopped drinking, using, overeating, or gambling, it was an enormous relief to find that people we met in the program seemed quite different than those apparently hostile masses we know as they. Them, they, they ride around in that bus, blacked out. We don't really know who they are. They, them, those, thous. I'm making shit up. All right. So there was a preconceived notion. All right. Now, if you think that, I don't know. I can't be totally sure, but I know I get intrusive thoughts, and I know not everybody thinks the best of me, and I tend to wear my emotions on my sleeve. If you piss me off, my face is gonna tell you. I'll what? That's usually what happens. I'll get a look of disdain. That's probably why I have these 2 permanent lines right here from all the disdain in my life. Grr, motherfucker, grr, right? So, when it's come to the rooms and stuff, I would say overall I've been treated pretty good. I'm not saying that I've always been treated good. Something just happened yesterday, and I had enough. Okay, and I'm not going to sit around in a meeting and continue to take abuse from people. Because I'm not going to try and change them either. It's not my job. Okay, but I won't tolerate it. I will find somewhere else to go. There's too many meetings out there, man. And I go to meetings to try and help other people out, and to listen to see if God has any answers for me. But when it's full of conceit, then there's not much. Then God's will isn't going on. That God's will isn't going on, not for me. We were met with criticism. We were met not with criticism and suspicion, but with understanding and concern. Yeah. You're going to find a lot of that in AA. Most of the people, well, I don't want to say a lot of people in AA want to help. They're there to help other people, man. Now, keep in mind that AA has become kind of like a lot of other places. It didn't used to be, where 20% of the people do 80% of the work. But there's also that line there where people seem to be have a stranglehold on the meeting, where they'll bitch and complain that they're having to chair again, but the fact that they're chairing again, and it becomes, I believe the word yesterday was conundrum, right? The grassroots meeting, the way I'm doing it is I'm letting it grow. Everybody is welcome. You get to be. I do everything that I can in that meeting to make sure people feel like they belong there. Yeah. I can't totally do it, but I can have welcome arms. I can say, we had somebody in the grassroots meeting on Thursday. It was their very, very first meeting. They did not know if they were an alcoholic, and this is a closed meeting. But you could hear the desire to stop drinking, and that's all that meeting needs. That's the only requirement. Okay, you can come into the meeting now. Yes, you can. And it was a young man trying to figure this out. I'm not gonna be so selfish. Oh well, you're not. You don't claim yourself to be an alcoholic, because I was in a meeting the other day where somebody wouldn't. They said they had a problem drinking, but they wouldn't claim to be an alcoholic yet, and so they asked them to leave because the group conscious defined it as that way. Well, each group gets to be autonomous. They do, and that's their rule. And I was not at the group conscious, so therefore I got to kind of follow the rule. But that doesn't mean I got to come back and support that. And I told them that. They're like, because I was like, because like I said, I wear my emotions after me. And they're like, now, Dia, I'm like, oh no, I get it. I understand. This is tradition 6. I know my traditions. Every group is autonomous. You're correct. You were correct. Okay. Doesn't mean I agree. Okay. You were correct, and that was the rule. I didn't think the rule was, I would have voted against that in the meeting. You bet. You can take a quick vote. Hey, do you guys mind? Do people mind? And you'll find most people, no, let them in, let them in. All right. I can tell you now that the person that created that and did that was probably the same person that hosts and chairs. And now I have to be careful about that, because I host and chair the grassroots meeting quite often, but if you think I make decisions, no, I do not. That is done in the WhatsApp group. We've had a group conscious, things like that. Yeah. However, we will still encounter people who get on our nerves, both within the program and outside of it. Yeah. And people get on my nerves quite often in the meetings, but that's not really anything. When I hear things like rock bottom, it gets on my nerves. Okay, because I have a different opinion. Well, that's something entirely different. I can get over that pretty darn quick. Well, Dion, if they want to say rock bottom and it's working for them, then we're gonna take it. We're gonna take it. Okay, I have a different view of rock bottom. Doesn't belong here right now. But there's a different, and we'll get more into it. Obviously, we must begin to accept the fact that there are people who will sometimes say things with which I disagree, or things we do not, or that we don't like. Yay for Saturday. Morning, Amber. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Okay. I changed my sponsee to 11 o'clock so I could come to that 2 o'clock thing. And we're finishing up his fifth step. So we probably need to, probably works out because, yeah, actually, it probably works out because it gives me more time to finish up his fifth step and we can get it done today. Oh, because I know I'm sitting on that for more than 2 weeks, man. No. Obviously, we must begin to accept the fact there are people, there are a lot of times people say things that I don't necessarily agree with. Sure, there is. Okay. But there's a boundary there. There's a boundary there. Am I beginning to see that learning to live with differences is essential to my comfort and in my turn, my continuing recovery? Now, this is the way I kind of see it. There's a lot of times when there's things people say that and do things that I don't necessarily agree with, but I'm not Mr. Controller of the meeting. Okay. But if I'm speaking and I get crosstalk, you're going to find a boundary with me immediately. I will call you out immediately. Okay. It happened to me yesterday. While I was talking, somebody literally says, I don't agree. All right. Saw people over there going, no. I mean, literally that much. Okay. And then while they were talking, they're like, I don't want to say anything that's going to make anybody's head shake. I'm like, you're the one that fucking, the perfectionism. Right. But there's a tolerance too, patience, tolerance, kindliness, and love does not equal abuse. No, it does not equal abuse. All right. What when I'm doing, like when I host and chair the grassroots meeting, I try and keep my talking limited because I'm opening the meeting. They're hearing me talk enough. I'm doing my service work. If I need to put in my 2 cents, I'll bring up the topic. I don't take more than 2-3 minutes to do that. Okay. Because the meeting needs to be open by at least a quarter after, at least. And so, but it's okay to live with differences. That's the beauty of it, and maybe not even just differences, but experiences, I share my experience, strength, and hope. And when people are telling me that I'm wrong, that's bullshit because it's fucking fact. It's not wrong. And I don't give a fuck if you disagree. I don't care. Okay? Interrupting somebody else's control, it's pride. Okay? And if you can't handle yourself in the chat, then go to a fucking in-person meeting, man. Okay? Yeah. May I recognize that people's differences make our world go round and tolerate people who rub me the wrong way. Rubbing me the wrong way isn't really. I'm an old cranky man. Get off my fucking lawn kind of a guy. Okay? Because very often, like, I'll be smoking and somebody use our cul-de-sac to turn around. I'm like, you motherfucker, this ain't a turnaround spot. And I'm like, you don't own the fucking street. They're just turning around. Let them turn around, okay? God's sakes. All right? And I can laugh at those things. Okay? So, may I understand that I must give them room, that some of the hostile attitudes towards others may be leftovers from the unhealthy days when I tended to view others as mobilized aid against me. Today, I'll remember to learn to live with the differences. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with trying to maybe you're sacrificing a little bit of what you think. Not sure. I'm not really letting my brain turn on today. I just not. So we're going to go to tradition 12 as part of this. and we may even read the whole thing. It's not very long. So, for some people, this is their daily meeting. So I make them a little bit longer if I can. And I don't have anything due for an hour. So let's go ahead and do it. Tradition 12, anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities. The spiritual substance of anonymity is sacrifice, because AA's 12 traditions repeatedly ask us to give up personal desires for the common good. We realize the sacrificial spirit, well symbolized by anonymity, is the foundation of them all. It is AA's proved willingness to make these sacrifices that gives people their high confidence in the future. All right, I'm going to give you an example. And this is where I'm bringing it up because I have to stop myself from doing this. When you chair, you cannot speak on what somebody has said right after they spoke and then pick the next person. That is not our job. That's not the part of the job. Okay. I have this overwhelming need to kind of mansplain everything. Right. So I tap that down. What is that? Well, it's a sacrifice, man. It's a sacrifice of a character defect that's going to go to the greater good. Right. So, because there's some speed, I'm like, God, that was a great share. And I want to say, and this was no. So I say, that was a really good share. Thank you. And I got to keep it at that. Okay. Because I get excited, man. And when I'm excited like that, I'm like a 3-4-year-old kid over there going, ooh, 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 ooh. Okay. So I sacrifice that. Yeah. But in the beginning, anonymity was not born of confidence. It was a child of our early fears. Our first nameless groups of alcoholics were secret societies. New prospects could only find us through a few trusted friends. The bare hint of publicity, even for our work, shocked us. Though ex-drinkers, we still thought we had to hide from the public distrust and contempt. We would call this stigma nowadays, and it's a denial. It's a denial that goes with it. I understand why, though. I mean, they finally found a place where that was theirs after living a life of not belonging anywhere. To find a place that's yours, yeah, I'd be pretty protective of it too. I really would. When the big book appeared in 1939, we called it Alcoholics Anonymous. That wasn't the first one. It was called A Way Out. But they found out that there were 12 other books called A Way Out, and they didn't want to be the 13th way out. So it was called Alcoholics Anonymous, which I appreciate, because could you imagine AA being called A Way Out? It just, how would, I don't know. Maybe the name of what we were in the book are different too. So its forward made this revealing statement. It is important that we remain anonymous because we are too few at present to handle the overwhelming number of personal appeals which may result from this publication. Being mostly business folk, we could not well carry our occupations in such an event. Between these lines, it is easy to read our fear that large numbers of incoming people might break our anonymity wide open. Not only that, but there were only 2 people working at GSO, which would be headquarters back then, but now it's GSO. Right. And they had 800 appeals come in. Okay. Now, have you ever imagine you got 800 emails that you had to reply back because people wanted help. Now imagine doing this by snail mail and Morse code. Yeah, that's partly what it is. The overwhelming, now it's not so anymore. Okay. So anonymity is a little different, but it's still the same in the sense that I've noticed a lot of people are not breaking necessarily their own anonymity, but breaking other people's anonymity. When a star goes on television and admits that they're in the AA program, and not only have they not only have they have broken anonymity and, sound like they talk for aid. A lot of them say, I don't talk for blah, blah, blah. Was it like Danny Trejo? That Danny Trejo does not announce his time on the internet. That is other people doing that. And that is breaking anonymity. The fuck it is breaking anonymity. You do not get to tell somebody else's story. And how do you know it's a fact? How do you know? Right? I'm tired of people using celebrities to raise their page. And then they'll even hashtag them. Look, I posted something about you. Don't you want some recognition? Oh, not 12 tradition at all. All right. As AA groups multiplied, so did the anonymity problem. Enthusiastic over the spectacular recovery of a brother alcoholic, we'd sometimes discuss those intimate and harrowing aspects of his case meant for her sponsor's ear alone. Keep other people's names out of your fucking mouth, man. I'm not, you know, I'm big on HIPAA. I'm big on keeping your fucking mouth shut. I'm big on that. I tell my wife almost everything. But if you think for 1 second I would tell her anything about somebody's fifth step, not a chance. In fact, I do everything that after a fifth step, I do everything that I can to forget about it. That's not for me to tell. Yeah, I'm often proud of the people that have decided that it's okay that I be their sponsor. Okay. But they did the work, man. They did the work. Did I take some time out? Yeah, but somebody did it for me, So the aggrieved victim would then rightly declare that his trust had been broken because it had been. Now they're not going to trust AA as much. It's going to take more time. Okay. They may not even come back. We may have lost somebody. Even if it's good, it doesn't matter. It is not for us. Now there's sometimes, when somebody in the room might have a birthday and I'm like, get your hand up. Where are you at? That's not really it. So anyway, I'm off topic now. When such stories got into circulation outside of AA, the loss of confidence in our anonymity promise was severe. It frequently turned people from us. Clearly, every AA's member name and story, too, had to be confidential if he wished. This was our first lesson in the practical application of anonymity. First practical application. Application. With characteristics in temperance, however, some of our newcomers cared not at all for secrecy. They wanted to shout AA from the housetops, and they did. Alcoholics barely dry rushed about, bright-eyed, buttonholing anyone who would listen to their stories. This is in full effect right now. This is happening in full effect. And until social media goes away, it will continue. It will continue. Okay. I'm on day 14. Things are going great. Shut the fuck up. Just shut up. You don't need to be the fucking poster child for detoxing. Okay? You don't. And I'm glad that you got 14 days, but you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Shut up. Shut up. Oh, I feel better. I'm doing. Dude, you're 22 and never had a fucking hangover. I don't want to hear it. Okay? Got to be careful. We'll run other people off. See, I got to get to a point where I'm worth having. I know that sounds mean. I'm talking about me. Other people don't have to do that if they don't want to. But I figured out that I have to become something worth having first before I am an attraction before promotion person. I cannot transmit something I do not have. Others hurried to place themselves before microphones and cameras. Sometimes they got distressingly drunk and let their groups down with a bang. They had changed from AA members to AA show-offs. I like to utilize my stuff as the It's a way of promoting it by talking about it. There's no promotion. There's not enough people here to promote because they've all been on this show. Okay. Raw Recovery. It very much follows the traditions. They're like, you're breaking tradition. I'm like, oh, you ever listen to Joe and Charlie tape? You have? Then fuck off. I'm not asking for it. Oh, and you paid for that tape, but you didn't pay for mine? Well, I'm closer to the traditions than that is. Right? And it's about anonymity. Very much is. And not everybody that told their story on that is an AA. You even get to pick your own anonymity level. I'll change your whole name because we're not there for credit. We're there to help. It's the only intention. And it works very, very well. This phenomena of contrast really set us thinking. Squarely before us was the question, how anonymous should an AA member be? Our growth made it plain that we couldn't be a secret society, but it was equally plain that we couldn't be a vaudeville circuit either. The charting of a safe path between these extremes took a long time. And if it took a long time, then maybe we should stick to it. Because I don't want to go back and redo it. I don't want to. If other people want to go do that, go for it. But there was a process that all of this happened, and it was all determined by God. And I'm not God, so I can't make those determinations. Like the writing of the plain English big book knows how well it did not do. Nobody talks about it. I've heard one person mention it in a meeting in the last 6 months. It wasn't the right thing to do. I voted no. But we all know that, huh? Because I'm an old grumpy man. As a rule, the average newcomer wanted his family to know immediately what he was trying to do. That I get. He also wanted to tell others who had tried to help him, his doctors, minister, and close friends. As he gained confidence, he felt it right to explain his new way of life to his employer and his business associates. When opportunities to be helpful came along, he found he could talk easily about AA to almost anyone. These quiet disclosures helped him lose his fear of the alcoholic stigma and spread news of AA's existence in his community. Many a new man and woman came to AA because of such conversations. Though not in a strict letter of anonymity, such communications were well within the spirit. Yeah, what about your community? If you really want people to know and you want to then go to the people that give a fuck about you. Let's talk to them. Maybe, if it would have done the other way, then Ebby would have never met Bill. Bill would have never got sober, and then none of us would be here. Yeah, friends and family first, man. The people that you're in contact. We don't all need to be in front of the camera with some reporter asking us questions. We don't need that. And please stop promoting Jelly Roll. He's not sober. He's not sober. Stop. He may be an ally, but he's still using drugs. Okay? You can see it on his fucking face. I know what a drug and alcohol user looks like because I was one. All right. Am I being too bitchy? Am I being too bitchy? I don't know. I think what I'm having is the excesses of yesterday's emotions because I'm feeling a little emotionally hungover today from the excitement and the fun and a lot of kind of extreme emotions yesterday. Not all of them good. But it became apparent that the word of mouth method was too limited. Our work as such need to be publicized. The AA groups would have to reach quickly as many despairing alcoholics as they could. Consequently, many groups began to hold meetings which were open to interested friends in the public so the average citizen could see just for himself just what it was all about. So tradition 12 is also open meetings. Most meetings are supposed to be closed. Okay. So what is the difference? Well, people that do not have a desire to stop drinking. Oh, let's see. Let's see. Now we got to do, she's a mycologist. So that's what, yeah. So Nguyen, you're an asshole, man. You know that, right? You're an asshole for coming on here and peddling your mushrooms on a place where we're trying to be drug free. All right. So shame on you. Shame on you. But that's all I'm gonna say. And you got a stupid name and you're ugly. I could probably come up with better, but are you a newbie? And do you wish to start your journey? Reach out to Kiddospores on Facebook. Oh, we're going to go to Kiddospores on Facebook. You bet we are. And if she's so good, then you wouldn't have to do all that. And thanks for the hearts, man. I love you too, even though you're an asshole. So it's getting out of control. It's people just trying to push they come on here and they try and peddle their fucking mushrooms. And there's one person that I, but yeah. Oh, I see what you're doing, CJ. Yeah, Nguyen, did you leave? Did you leave? Yeah, why? Because you're a fucking pussy. You're a fucking pussy. Okay? I'm going to tell you something. Bad shit happens to people that fuck with me. All right. Oh, the response to these meetings was warmly sympathetic. Soon, groups began to receive requests for AA speakers to appear before civic organizations, church groups, and medical societies, provided anonymity was maintained on these platforms. And reporters were cautioned against the use of names, pictures, and the result was fine. So, what's really the big difference? Well, a difference would be somebody, a lot of nurses and doctors are now required to go to a few AA meetings to help understand. Ministers, lawyers, the professionals that help us or work with us, or maybe somebody who has a significant other who is drinking and wants to understand it a little bit. Yeah. Then came our first few excursions into the major publicity, which were breathtaking. Cleveland's Plain Dealer article about us ran that town's membership from a few into hundreds overnight. The news stories of Mr. Rockefeller's Dinner for Alcoholics Anonymous helped double our total membership in a year's time. Jack Alexander's famous Saturday Evening Post piece made an AA national institution. Sub tributes as these brought opportunities for more recognition. Oh, you missed it, Amber. You missed it. We had another shroom peddler. Another shroom peddler. Nguyen Bing Christopher. Very, very, very Asian American name. Other newspapers and magazines wanted AA stories. Film companies wanted to photograph us. Radio and finally television besieged us with requests for appearances. What should we do? As this tide offering top of public approval swept in, we realized that it could do us incalculable good or great harm. Everything would depend upon how it channeled. We simply couldn't afford to take the chance of letting self-appointed members present themselves as messiahs representing AA before the whole public. The promoter instinct in us might be our undoing. Even if one publicly got drunk or was lured into using AA's name for his own purposes, the damage might be irreparable. At this altitude, press, radio, films, and television, anonymity, 100% anonymity, was the only possible answer. Here, principles would have to come before personalities without exception. Now, the news will fuck with anybody, but they won't do it. You will get shut down so fast. Why? Because we have a lot of allies. We have a lot of allies that will not let that happen, man. We won't. Right? If you're a newspaper reporter and you blow somebody's anonymity, you're probably going to be ousted. They're very serious about that. So what does that tell you, man? Right? These experiences taught us that anonymity is real humility at work. Yeah. Because we're not out there trying to take credit for something we didn't do. I can't speak for AA as a whole. I didn't start AA. I didn't start AA. So what do they do? Well, they go reinvent the wheel so they can talk on it. So that they can be, oh, well, AA is just right. And they steal all our shit. They just change the names. They'll even put down AA to get you to come to their shit. Okay? What is that? It's competition and it doesn't belong in recovery. Competition does not belong in recovery. I don't care if it's a treatment center, if it's sober livings, if it's recovery coaching or any of it. If there is competition involved, that means that you are fighting over people, and that is disgusting in this field, and we will not go for it. Move beyond. These experiences taught us anonymity is real humility at work. It is an all pervading spiritual quality which today keynotes AA life everywhere. Moved by the spirit of anonymity, we try to give up our emotional desires for personal distinction as AA members, both among fellow alcoholics and before the general public. As we lay aside these very human aspirations, we believe that each of us takes part in the weaving of the protective mantle which covers our whole society, under which we may grow and work in unity. We are sure that humility expressed by anonymity is the greatest safeguard that Alcoholics Anonymous can ever have. All right, before I wrap up, I want to repeat the fact that love, patience, tolerance, love, and kindliness does not equal abuse. It does not. So I just feel like that is worth repeating. So, all right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. Everybody but Nguyen. I appreciate it. I love you, including you, Nguyen. You know I do. Peace out and have a day.